What is something that instantly ruined a crush that you had on someone? In high school, senior year, I had been flirting with this girl from the first day of the school year. She had a boyfriend, so it never amounted to much more than that until just after winter break. I found out that they had broken up, so I ramped up the flirting and gave it a couple of weeks until I'd make my move. We had period 7 and 8 together, and I waited for a Friday to do it. I was anticipating seeing her all day. Suddenly, period 4, there she is walking towards me down the hall. It was a bathroom break for me, and I assumed her too. She didn't seem well though. I said, "Hey Amy, how's it going?" Her response, "Not good. I think I just miscarried in the bathroom. I got to go home." And that was that. He kept licking my teeth when we kissed, and he had horrible breath. I even tried kissing him on another date and yeah, I just gave up. I even gave him gum the second time, but the teeth licking thing just weirded me out. And he called me mama. No, this isn't Saved by the Bell, and he was not Axe later. She's cute, she's smart, she's funny, and as soon as she gets tired or hungry she begins to whine constantly in the manner of a 5-year-old girl. We are at this very moment walking to the shop to buy some food. You whining and whining and making a big scene about how hungry you are is not going to help even a tiny bit. Went on a dinner date with a guy I'd been eyeing for years. He was extremely rude to the waitress. Even decided not to tip her because she brought our cutlery out after the meal and it was busy. He also tried to sleep with me that night and tried to guilt me into it by insulting me when I said no. Terrible date. Ugh. In middle school I was all about wearing cool socks. But since I usually wore pants, no one ever saw them. My crush and I were both in chorus and our group had a concert coming up, and we had a very strict dress code for these events. I decided to wear a black skirt and my fave frog socks. They barely peeked out of my shoes. In a lineup he was pretty close behind me, which I thought was great until I heard him and a friend of his laughing about my awesome socks. A crush since 3rd grade ended just like that. Duck him, those socks ruled. Following him home and seeing 2 pairs of brown streaked undies on the living room floor. He may have thought I was just a tease when I left promptly, but I really did not want to see the state of his bed linen after that intro. A girl I had been growing close to for a while, when finding out I'm religious, said, "Oh, you're Christian? That's disappointing. I wanted to ask you out," and promptly walked off mid-conversation. As you can guess, I'm not even that religious, as it took her like 2 months of hanging out to figure it out, but she still couldn't handle it. You often hear how close-minded religious people are, but some atheists are just as bad. Frequently posting selfies to FB. It's even worse if she captions them with something irrelevant. That constant need for attention/validation screams insecurity and self-obsession to me, and it's a major turn-off. I don't like dogs. Why? Were you or a family member bitten growing up? Are you scared? No. They are just loud, and I don't like them. Well, that's too bad. Because my roommate and best friend happens to be a 95 pounds, drooling, hairy mess made out of love. He had a Winnie the Pooh themed bedroom. Your loss. This is weird, but the sound of their voice. I had a huge crush on this guy in my physics class. Then one day, 5 weeks into the semester, I'm incredibly shy, so it took a while for me to talk to him. I felt a burst of confidence and sat next to him. I started talking to him, and when he first responded, my crush on him disappeared instantly, which sucked. The sound of his voice was just up, and I wanted him to stop talking. He spoke intelligently, and we had a lot in common, but his voice was unpleasant. She said, "I hate reading." Edit. Wow. Most comments/upvotes I've ever had. It would seem the biggest complaint I'm getting is that I'm shallow. Maybe you are right. Though, unless you are some sort of egalitarian love god, you've probably got a deal breaker that might seem unfair to someone else. Also, no, I do not think non-readers equal stupid people. I just want my potential mate to share something I'm very passionate about. She went off on some regular worker. I had one of those bus crushes, where you run into the same person every day and say hi. Nothing more than that. Then one day she exploded on a bus worker because the bus was late. That's when I knew we could never be together. I've since found a new bus crush and we are very happy together. not a crush that I had, but one time, while sitting with a friend of mine at a lunch table, I overheard a few girls swooning amongst themselves about how cute my friend was. He didn't notice them at all and got up to throw his food away. While he was at the garbage, he noticed a half-eaten apple sitting on top. He picked it up, took a few bites, and threw the rest away. I heard the girls' conversation go instantly from "he's so cute" to "oh never mind." I was 14 or 15, in 9th grade. There was a guy in my school that I had a crush on, and we rode the bus together. I considered him a friend, and we would call each other on the phone and talk for hours, and listen to Nirvana, and analyze the songs from Bleach, and Nevermind together on the phone lol. We had so much in common, and I really enjoyed being around him and talking to him. Well, after a few months of these long talks, I developed feelings for this guy and told him. He said he just wanted to be friends, and I was fine with that, while always having a crush on him in the back of my mind. Unfortunately, after I shared my feelings for him, he became distant and more like an acquaintance and stopped calling me. He also started acting like an a-hole to me around his friends. I told myself I must have just freaked him out and held out small hope that we would once be close again, even if not romantically involved. Then, one day on the bus, he asked me out in front of all of his and my friends, and I was like, really? I, stupidly, was taken aback by his sudden change of heart. The moment he saw the look of joy on my face, he started laughing and then said April Fools. It was April Fool's Day and I didn't realize it. I was mortified, and I'd say the crush was ruined. I initially volunteered to help make supper for her and her mother. Ended up making all of it while they ducked around. Come time to actually eat, some other dude showed up at the front door and apparently had a date planned with this girl. Needless to say, I left. She was 18, but when she got a little bit of ice cream on her iPhone, she bawled like a freaking baby. Streams of tears. And that was in front of a group of 5 friends. Her phone was perfectly fine, but she just kept crying for 5 minutes. Didn't matter how hot she was after that. So I was sort of seeing this girl, let's call her Sarah, in college, but every time we hooked up something just didn't feel right. The moment things started getting heavy, it was like a switch would suddenly get flipped, and I would start to feel physically ill. I'd usually make up some excuses to why I had to leave and then bolt, leaving her totally speechless. This occurred numerous times over the span of a couple months, and I could never quite figure out what it was until that winter, when I went home for Christmas. My family was sitting in the living room enjoying some quality time, when I notice a familiar odor. It was Sarah, no doubt about it. I look around the room and I see my sister applying this lotion to the backs of her hands. Turns out Sarah used the same hand lotion my sister had been using for years, and I had come to mentally associate the smell with my little C's. Needless to say, things didn't work out. He called me drunk and asked if he could come over. He ended up bringing a girl with him without informing me first, and ducking her in my shower. When I walked into the bathroom to check if they had drowned, water had flooded over the tub and was all over the floor, soaking their clothing. The next day, when they woke up, she was missing her wallet, and B accused me of stealing it. Short backstory. This was first year of junior high school. One of my friends in PE class, let's call him Richard, told me that this girl likes me. Let's call her Leslie. I never thought anything of Leslie, but after what Richard told me, I started having a crush on her. Being the stupid me in 7th grade, I asked her out on Facebook, on the last day of school no less. Needless to say, I was rejected, but my feelings for her still lingered. Second year of junior high started. Saw her in the hallway. Said hi, Leslie. She replied, sorry, who are you? Yeah, that did it. Duck Richard. He was a super nice guy and all. I knew he was religious, but never judgy. He's a minister now about 12 years later. I had liked him for a bit already, but one day on the bus to school I was talking to another friend about our thoughts on evolution. He outright denied evolution, but also went so far as to tell me dinosaurs never existed, and that God put dinosaur bones in the ground to test our faith. While I still respect that he very truly believes in God, I could feel all attraction to the boy melt away with that singular sentence. Yeah, I got a little story for you. High school. Had a little crush on a girl I had a few classes with. At the time we had hung out a couple times after school. Walked to work together. Anyways. Long story short, go to a party. Quite a few PPL there, like 50 to 60. We are hanging out here and there throughout the night, but she doesn't seem too interested in me. I'm not too worried, more or less there, to have a good time with my friends. Night goes on. Everyone gets wasted. Especially this girl I'm interested in. And I mean especially this girl. She gets wasted, poops her pants in the basement. People have to call her dad to come get her. He gets here. She's basically rolling in the driveway covered in poop, wasted, being helped into his dad's car. All the while her pants are someone. Who knows? It was a mess to say the least. And that was enough for me. And probably her.